if you were able to acquire $1,000 per month deal, okay? Well, let's just say $1,000 per month net. That's how much went in your pocket. Let's $1,500 deal, $1,000 your pocket, whatever. If you were able to add $1,000 per month to your bank account by getting a deal, okay? What would that do for you in your life? $1,000 a month for 12 months, that's $12,000 basically extra income per year. What would that do for you in your life? Would it pay for the car payment, that whatever? Would it pay for this thing? Would it allow you to go on this trip? What would that do for you? And guys, don't give me some stupid answer that's not true. But I'm curious, like, what would that do? I know for me, and then I'm gonna have you guys answer, and then as we're getting into the interview, I'll start giving away swag. But I know for me, when I was just starting out, like just getting into this business back in 2016, $1,000 per month was everything to me. It was everything to me because I, like many of you, was living according to the money I was making, right? And so that $1,000, when you're making $8,000 a month and you add $1,000 a month to your income, that's complete profit, it changes everything, right? All of a sudden, oh, I can go eat out, right? All of a sudden, oh, I don't have to like wait until Christmas to buy those shoes. Oh, we actually might be able to go on that vacation. Like that $1,000 was everything to me when I started out because money was tight. And so I'm curious, guys, and this isn't some sob story, blah, blah, blah. But what would it do for you? I want to know in the chat, and I'm going to be giving away some swag based on just which answers I like. Doesn't mean they have to be the most heartfelt. Doesn't mean they have to be the most shallow. Doesn't mean they have to be the most this. What would $1,000 per month do for you in your life if you're able to get that today? Okay. A couple answers really quick. We got Aaron. I'm going to give it a like. Says, position me to put more money into my business to make more money. Aaron, dude, Aaron is a future millionaire, guys. I swear to you. Isaac, my man, my video guy, I want you to clip this and I want to save this because I promise you Aaron will be a millionaire. Okay. He is a future millionaire. This kid is 17 years old and he is hustling and he just gets it. Aaron, I like that answer a lot, bro. Aaron, if you haven't already, which I'm sure you have, dude, I want to give you some swag, bro. You know what? I want to give you some swag. You are always showing up. You are always tagging people. So I'm going to give Aaron some swag. You know the drill. Message Fix It Felix and go get some swag. Okay. Alden says, it would change my whole life. Haha. I live in Turkey and that would pay all my expenses then some. That's crazy. That's crazy, but you're not alone. There's so many people that like, that's the case, right? Like where I live right now in Sierra Leone, if you were to take someone and give them $1,000 per month coming in, it's everything. You can live the highest of highest in your society. So yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of there. I love that. That's cool. $1,000 a month. Imagine, Alden, one deal, it could pay all of your expenses. Okay. I love that. It would change my whole life. Emily Fisher says it would help me get into digital landlords. Okay. Okay. There we go. Emily Fisher, you know I got to hook you up for that one. Emily Fisher, go ahead and get yourself some swag. Yeah, I like that answer. I'm going to heart that. And so I'm going to put swag winner. That was just good timing on your comment. You know, sometimes that would annoy me. I like that comment a lot. We're going to see you inside. Don't worry. Message Fix It Felix. You'll get some swag and enjoy the swag. Okay. We have a new t-shirt that says Money Loves Speed. And we've gotten really good feedback on it. So go ahead, message Fix It Felix, completely free to your doorstep. Would love to see a picture posted in the group, but you don't have to, but I would love to see it. Freddie Q says more freedom. I like that. T. Kevin White says pay for my Go High Level SaaS and invest more in the biz. I like that as well. Josh says $1,000 a month would set me up to generate the next $100,000 a month. Just rinse and repeat, baby. I like these answers. You guys are all thinking along the same lines, which is take the money, put it in your business. So cool. As the more answers start trickling in, I'm going to keep rewarding with some swag. But with that said, guys, I'm going to be bringing on Mr. Nick Ford to right now here in just a second. And we are going to be interviewing our man. Okay. Now, I will tell you this with Nick and pretty much everyone as of the last 6 months to a year, I don't bring people into the group anymore That's Kyle, right? Kyle is our guy right now. He's bringing people into the group. And so I don't, it's cool because these interviews, just like this will be the first time I actually talk to Nick in person or on a Zoom. And I'm going to be learning about him for the first time as well. So I'm excited about this. But with that said, guys, let me bring on Nick and let's get into this interview. Okay.
What
Nick,
up?
Nick Ford, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing really well, bro. And I love you repping the digital landlords tee, dude. You had to. Sick, dude. How are you, man? How's everything?
Good, dude. Good. It's finally above 60 degrees up here in New England, so I took advantage of it and came outside to take the call out on the deck.
Dude, it looks beautiful where you're at, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. I just opened the pool yesterday, so spending some time prospecting from the hot tub.
Don't you, don't you love that? I remember when I was like just getting into online business, and this is the first one I tried. I got lucky. But I remember thinking that like, dude, are there really people that make money by the pool? Or like, and
Yes,
it's
there
like
are.
there are, dude. And I remember the first time I was like, dude, I think I'm just gonna like just for the principle go sit by the pool. Even though it was probably a little bit more inconvenient because it was hot, but I was like, just because I want to sit by the pool, I'm gonna go and
Right.
yeah, just
I'm gonna
wait
go
these
do it.
calls. That's dope, dude. So, okay, bro, let's get into this. I'm excited to hear your story. Obviously, like I just mentioned, I don't, obviously I know some just because we've messaged a bit, but I wasn't on your call when you came into Digital Landlord. So, yeah, dude, give us your background. Obviously, everybody knows that you came from a military background, which is super interesting. So, give us the story of what you did before. I want to start there.
Yeah, man, sure. So, I went into the military like right out of high school when I was 18. I actually enlisted when I was 17, with my parental consent. My mom refused to sign. My dad had to sign. But anyway, went into the military. My dad was a former Army Ranger, so I was kind of going down that trajectory anyway. Got into the Ranger Battalion, Third Ranger Battalion, out of Fort Benning, Georgia. I ended up doing three combat deployments, two to Iraq, one to Afghanistan, as an assault team member. So it's funny because I work in cybersecurity now full time in aerospace and defense. And when my boss was like looking at my resume, he's like, "I don't understand. Like, what did you do anything with computers in the military?" I'm like, "No." I just kicked down doors, like literally nothing to do with computers. Um, so I got out of the army. That was like my life goal number one was to become an army ranger. I was out of the army by the time I was 22. Um, my second goal in life was to become a police officer. So right when I got out of the military, did some stuff in IT, um, kind of waiting to get on the police department, taking the exams and whatnot. Finally got hired onto the police department. I did 6 years full time in Boston, working in the hood, and that was like my I loved it. I still love it. I'm still a police officer. I'm just a reserve police officer now in the little town that I live in now, which is a little more enjoyable just to keep,
Looks like it's crime ridden, bro. Really crime ridden. I'm sure you're real busy there. Just kidding, dude.
yeah, tons of problems here, like barking
Yeah,
dogs
with the
and
pool. Yeah.
illegal dumping. Um, so so yeah, and then basically I was never home. Like when I was a cop in Boston, like I loved it. I loved the job. I was a cop's cop, fair, nice to people, whatnot. Like to do the work. I was just never home. Like there was no work-life balance, which is fine when it was just like me and my girlfriend at the time. Who's now my wife. She was a nurse working in Boston. I was a cop working in Boston. It was, easy peasy, making money left and right. Then the kids started coming and I was missing, the birthdays and missing Christmas. Oh, daddy's got to work. And I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not going to be the dad that's not around because I had to go work a construction detail that I didn't want to work to begin with. So, thankfully I had a background in IT. So I got out. I started my first business actually while I was a cop, which is actually an ATM machine business. So I do ATM machines, merchant services, e-commerce. I still do that to this day. kind of on the back burner now. And basically made the jump like out of law enforcement. I left law enforcement. I was making six figures. Um, I had a 2 year old. My wife was pregnant with our second baby, and I was leaving a stable, well-paying job, and I got a shot working at a large aerospace and defense company as a temporary contractor. So it was like an 18-month temporary contract, making about 40 grand less than I was making at the police department. And I just friggin' jumped, dude. I just jumped into the wind, hoped that it would work out. Fast forward today, I've been with that company for 6 years. I'm a senior manager. I got people working for me. And that brings us sort of to like today as far as the professional background goes.
Dude, okay. Well, this is a quick question. I guess this doesn't have a ton to do with the subject matter in terms of like digital landlords and the digital real estate and everything else, but like so you started at 17. Did you just have a 5-year contract?
Four.
Four,
Yeah.
okay, because eight, so basically 18 to 22, right?
18 to 22, yeah, and then I did like 2 years in the National Guard just to finish off my time up here in Massachusetts.
Amazing. So I guess I'm curious because looking at your background, it looks like everything you did was very like calculated, right? Like I'm gonna do this, did it. I'm gonna do this, did it. At the same time, you're kind of like me. I don't want to say reckless, but like you're very confident in just like jumping in. And I'm
Yes.
guessing that you had the confidence to jump in, including probably this, because you're like, hey, if I was able to do, Ranger school, then she's, I should be able to do freaking figure out some ads and call some business owners, you know? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it is fair to say. Sometimes, my confidence can get me not in trouble, but it can come off the wrong way, like especially in corporate America, where like, I like results. When I'm confident about something, I'm pretty hard headed. But yeah, I mean, everything that I've done in my life, whether it was, the Ranger Regiment, whether it was becoming a police officer, being in the Ranger Regiment was tough. And when I went through the police academy, like I was not expecting it to be so difficult for 6 months. And it was a lot of stress on the family and stuff like that. But I made it through that. I worked through the Boston Marathon bombings. So yeah, everything has kind of like built me up to be extremely confident and calculated in like the decisions that I make.
I love that, bro. I love that. So with all that professional background, how'd you get into renting websites, bro? How'd you get into the website rental business?
Yeah, so I mean, I have shiny object syndrome, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs do. Um, my attention span's very short. Um, and if something doesn't interest me, within a couple months, I'm out. And that is detrimental sometimes because, I started my business, like I said, my first business was in the ATM machine space, which was cool. Started that 2015, whatever, figured it out, kind of figured out, how to build a business, how to do the books, everything else. Um, and so from there, then I started looking at other things. Like Gary Vaynerchuk did a piece on this, where like you had this like beautiful apple tree that's producing like juicy, nice big apples, and there's tons of them. And then like entrepreneurs are like, what about orange trees? Like I'm gonna go over here and go plant some orange. Like no, dude, like
So
you have
true.
an apple tree that's like so like I have that
That's so
problem where
true, bro. That's such a good
yeah.
analogy too, because I do that same thing. In fact, I do it more. I've done it recently, and yeah, we'll get into that, but it's such a good analogy. Yeah,
So there's that. So I was like the ATM thing. I'm like, ooh, like it's a part-time venture. I treat it as a part-time business. I get part-time results, and I'm fine with that for right now. Um, so then I'm like, oh, what about affiliate marketing? I got in the Jeff Lerner circle. Love Jeff Lerner. Love that's how I learned about you.
okay,
I listened to his podcast. Love everything about him. Love what he does. Went through his program. Affiliate marketing spoke the most to me about the most to me, so I started like affiliate marketing business, and I did that for like 2 or 3 months, and then I was like, man, I didn't realize how much content I'd have to create like daily, and I mean it's super time consuming, which I was fine with, but it just didn't feel right. Like I've I don't like sales. Shocking. I don't like sales because I always feel like I'm doing something sleazy. You know, even when I know my product is good, even though when I know my product is working, even though when I know I'm delivering value, ATM machines, I always feel like a dirtbag going into it, and I don't know why. I don't know why, and that's just something I have to get over. But affiliate marketing was the same thing. Like it just felt fake. You know, I was like on, making things and promoting products, and I was like, kind of not really my deal. But going through Jeff Lerner's course, I learned he had a podcast, and I like what the dude stands for, and I love
Good
his
dude.
his
I know him.
energy.
I know him personally. Like we live very close to each other in the
Yeah,
US.
you guys live in the same area. So on one of his podcasts was like, "Oh, Nick Wood, king of digital real estate," and I was like, "Digital real estate, those two words sound pretty cool." So I listened to it, and that was the first. This is probably like maybe 6 months ago, 6, 7, 8 months ago. I was like, man, that's really interesting. So I started, looking into it, got on the free side of things on the Facebook group. And of course, typical entrepreneur, I'm like, I can figure this out. Like I don't have to go to the paid program. Like I'm gonna go figure it out and I'll do whatever. And sure as shit, it's like 6 months into it, 4 months into it, whatever the case may be, I'm making all these mistakes. I'm like, dude, I need to just do what all the people who are successful, what they all say is find somebody that's it. You've said it yourself. Find somebody that does this shit for a daily basis and has succeeded and has spent the money and has spent it and go invest the money in that. And it's and here I am. And that's why so I'm on the paid side of things for people that don't know. Um and it's awesome. I've learned already that I was doing a bunch of stuff wrong. I learned that I was doing a bunch of stuff right, which is good. But that's where the whole confidence problem comes into play. I'm like, I wish I would have done it 6 months ago and gotten to the program, and I'd be a little bit ahead of schedule. But whatever.
Oh, dude, so good. And man, I think we've all done that. I know I did the same thing. I've done the same thing, right? Like you're checking stuff out and you're like, well, I don't it's almost like you're scared of commitment. And if you invest money in something, then you have to do it, right? Which is the whole point. And so
Yeah.
that's why we have this group, man, is like we want people to be able to come in and I encourage people. I'm like, yo, go test it out. Go build a website, go throw up some ads, go lose some money, and then you will appreciate what I'm doing. In fact, I had a kid that used to work for me. He might even be in this group. He called me like, I don't know, maybe like 3 months ago before I came to Africa, and he's like, hey man, I've been like in the free group, and he's keep in mind he used to work for me, he used to sell for me. So this kid didn't take advantage of anything because he didn't even still doesn't know what we're doing. He was just selling. And he's like, I'm thinking about like getting into your program, and he was like expecting me to sell him, and I totally spun it on him. Like, I'm like, I don't think you're ready, bro. Like, I think you should just go try it on your own. And I think he was like not expecting that. And I was like,
Perfect.
I don't want to be rude, but like you need to go try it, because then when you come to me, then you'll understand that like, okay, this is worth it, right? But if
Yep.
not, you're gonna be like, you're still gonna think you could do it. So go try it. So what my point is, anyone that's on this call right now, if you're like thinking like Nick's thinking, or like I've thought before, go do it. Just go try it. Go burn your finger a little bit, and then you that might scare you off. Or if you're still interested in the business itself, you'll see the value in becoming somebody that gets on the inside, right? That's what I would say.
Yep. I'm a glutton for punishment, man. I'm the type of guy that like if people are like, "Oh no, that's that stove is hot." I'll be like, "No, I'm not gonna take
Let
your
me
word
test
for it, bro. I'm gonna
it.
go touch it." And then I'm gonna touch it probably one more time just to confirm that it's hot.
Well, my problem too is like, as much as I make fun of like like I make fun of people just as a joke, kind of like the people that go and like build their own stuff, because it's such a, like, to me, I don't enjoy it. So I'm like, people that are really handy and go build like, and I don't make fun of them. I'm just like, dude, that's a waste of time or whatever. But like some people enjoy it, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm like, DIY guys, like, and they've always rubbed me wrong because I used to sell security. And so the DIY home security systems and stuff, I was like, DIY guys are cheap. But dude, I realize I'm kind of a DIY guy in the sense that like I want to be able to say like I did it by myself and I didn't need anyone's help. And so I remember for like the first couple years, of like trying to do my own business, I refused to get into any of these programs that I needed to get into because in my mind, I was like, I want to be able to say like, I figured it out, me. And then
Right.
eventually dude, I got so tired of being broke that I was like, do I want to have the badge of honor? Like, is that my life mission or do I want to make money and
Right.
take care of my
Is it
family?
really worth it
Is
to
it
have the
worth
badge
it?
of honor?
And instantly, as soon as I was like, yeah, I want the money and I want like, that's my success, then I started like thinking differently. So anyway, if you're somebody that's thought like that, no hard feelings, go try it, take the free resources, follow the, or subscribe to the YouTube channel. I give a ton of good stuff out. And then when you're ready, you'll be ready. But let's talk really quickly about this apple tree thing, because I love this analogy. And I want to know, how did you stop yourself from going to oranges? Like how have you been able to kind of like sit and go, okay, I'm not going to see any other, let's use the tree analogy. I'm not going to see this fruit, this fruit, this fruit. I have this thing that's producing. How did you get yourself to kind of stop and just focus on one thing?
I think it was. I don't know that there's a concrete answer because frankly, I'm not convinced right now that I am 100% there yet. The difference is that I want to be there, and
Good honesty.
that 100% focus is going to be on digital real estate and building this agency. So much to the point that I'm looking to sell my ATM business. Gone. Some of the stuff that you've said, on the free side and the paid side, um, have really struck home where, trading time for money, the DIY thing. It's funny you bring that up. Like I enjoy doing DIY stuff, like replacing a door or mosquitoes. Like I looked up how to like all the chemicals that they use, and I'm like, yeah, I figured it out. I'm getting over. But it's like my time now, especially doing an agency, is worth so much more than if I just called friggin' Mosquito Squad. And I
Yep.
just became a Mosquito Squad customer 3 days ago, in part because of some of the stuff that you talk about. Is like your time is worth so much more. So, um, the light bulb came on when when I got my first like inbound lead from the one pager that I built. The light bulb came on. I was like, holy shit, I just got like it's working, it's starting to work. And then, fast forward couple weeks or whatever, did my prospecting, and well, actually the first deal I got was before it was like half and half. I had 1 foot in the free side and 1 foot on the paid side. So not optimal, but I landed the deal. And I'm like, I saw so much potential, because there is so much potential in infinite number of cities, infinite number of niches. The niches are only getting added, like not going anywhere. And it's a very niche skill set, and there's not a whole lot of people doing it, which in an entrepreneurial mind is like it checks all the freaking boxes. Like ATMs, like there's 9,000 ATM machine companies out there. Like merchant services is garbage, frankly. Like I've made a lot of money on it. 3/4 of the industry is just shady and murky. Everybody hates merchant services people. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not
Yeah.
going to do it. So that's kind of like what, to answer your question more simple, is I saw the amount of effort, which is a lot that I have to put into something, and I'm getting something in return. And there's a high demand. There's a low competition for people doing this stuff.
And you know what? Like, this is what I think so cool. You mentioned affiliate marketing that you were doing before, right? Like
Right.
that is a
9,000
constant.
affiliate marketers everywhere.
Right, bro. And like it's a constant content. With this, you build a website, you're doing content, you're ranking,
Asset.
with the asset. That's the key. And I haven't really found any other business model that checks that box and has any of the other pieces. That the asset piece is the biggest thing. You
That
know what I
that
mean?
is the 100% the biggest thing, and I'm glad that you directed my attention to that, because it's like I saw something similar when I was doing affiliate marketing in the form of YouTube video. So like my first, I made DIY. I made a video on like how to change a battery on my ADT smart panel, right? And ADT is like, oh, they wanted to charge me money to like come out and switch the battery out. And I'm like, dude, I work in IT. Like, I'm sure it's not that difficult. So I take it apart, figure it out. It's just, the little rechargeable battery pack you can get on Amazon. Made a YouTube video about it, threw up my little Amazon link, and literally, like I did that 2 years ago. Every single day, somebody buys that friggin' battery, and it's like a $3 battery. So my commission's like 75 cents, but that's an asset on YouTube that isn't going anywhere. That's gonna stay there forever and ever and ever. And you apply that to websites, which is even better because they're like white label. So, and that was another thing too, is like you're in control of everything. Like in the ATM machine business, like anybody can say, like, yeah, Nick, I'm all set. In the merchant services, especially, you can be, yeah, I'm all set. See you later. And then same thing, SEO, whatever. And it's like with this asset, it's online, it's not going anywhere. You own it. And if the business owner 6 months down the road is like, it's too expensive, it's not working out, whatever, cool, man, no problem. And you go into the next. Love it.
You have control.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. But no, it's so funny that you say that. And like, I don't know, man. When you know how you said like you got that first lead, you got the one pager, that first lead comes in. It's like I remember the same thing. I'm like, I got my first lead. I was sitting in church, man, and I'm like, dude, I was looking at my phone and I'm like, wait,
That
who?
just happened.
Yeah, and I saw the area code and I was like, I was selling door to door at the time, so I thought maybe it was like a customer, and then I'm like, no, I ain't a customer. I just knew. So I never do this. I'm usually pretty good about this. I turn my phone off at church or like, don't look at it. Bro, I was like, I'm out. Middle of Sunday school, dude. I'm out in the hall. I'm like, babe, I got something. Hold on.
Gotta
Go
do
out,
this.
dude. I'm filled in the call right there. And I don't even know what to say because I'm like, I didn't expect it to come in, but it was like, I was like, magic, dude. I
Right.
just generated a call from these stupid little, I just drug some stuff around. Like, I don't even know what a domain is, bro. Like, it's the coolest thing ever, It's awesome.
That's the magic.
It feels like
Magical
magic.
feeling.
And when you
Yep.
make it, and this is where I want to transition to, that's cool. But getting that first deal when it's like, okay, got the lead, believe in the business model, send them the leads. Okay, we're following the process. Nick's been talking about this, and then you get that first deal, and you charge on Stripe, dude. Unbelievable feeling. You're like, okay, this is
Yeah. We're
crazy.
off to the races. We're off to the
Go,
races.
yeah. Let's do it 100 times. So tell us about your first deal. I know from start to finish. Now you did, just to be fair, you did go and try some stuff. Some was right, some was wrong. So it's not like you just started from day one, but you from the time that you started with us inside of Digital Landlords until you got your first deal, I think it was around a month, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So I kind of started the one pager and everything on the free side of things. And I made a I don't know if the video is posted yet. It should be posted soon because I sent it to Isaac. He's editing it and stuff like that. um, but I literally did everything. I did 90% of the stuff wrong and I still got the deal. So the reason why I bring that up is because there's like the process that you provide is money. It's gold. But just like everything else in life, you not everything goes bam, 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 checking the boxes. So there's a lot there's some thinking on your feet and things of that nature, which I had to do. So yeah, basically I set the one pager up. I started running ads. I was getting frustrated and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna apply. I must have been on the application to Digital Landlords program like 4 or 5 times. And I'd look at it and I'd fill it out, and then I'd close it and be like, nah, I'll just so I got into the program, learned a bunch of stuff. Um and yeah, I did the prospecting, which is like the biggest piece that I didn't know what I was like, if I start getting leads like them, then what do I do? So yeah, I did. That's when I learned about doing the Zoom and the screencast and stuff like that. And I think that's what was the game changer. And without having been in the program, like I wouldn't have gotten that information, and I might have just dropped the ball and not gotten the deal at all.
It's funny because it's like I guess the way I describe it is like this. Like I talk to people sometimes, well, not me anymore, Kyle now, because he's the one that brings people in, but like sometimes we'll talk to people and they're like, no, I think I got like 90% of it, right? And like, I think, you know, I'm sure you felt the same way. Like, there's probably some stuff I don't know, but I got 90%, right? And you know what the truth is? You probably did. However, the 10% that you didn't have is what cost me 6 years of my time and 1.4 million dollars in ads. And that's the thing people don't realize is that it's like SEO. You build a website, you start ranking, you're going to go from page 6. If you did good due diligence, you're going to go from page 6 to page 2 or bottom of page 1 pretty quick, relatively speaking.
Mm.
Going from the bottom of page 1 to the top of page 1 for all the keywords, that's going to take you sometimes double the time and you may never get it. And so it's like that 10%. If we talk about baking a cake, like I talk about inside the program, right? There, like, we could have all these different cakes, and the difference between like the most amazing cake you've ever had and one that's just like, I don't think I'm going to order that one again, or I'm never going to think about it again, is probably this much. Maybe it's an ingredient. Maybe it's a,
10%. It's
that's
that
it.
10%.
It's that 10%, but that's where all the money is, dude.
Mm.
And so that's what you have to remember. And also on that note, if you do the process correctly, right? And the biggest piece is making sure that you give value in advance. If you guys will give value up front, get the leads up front, it's your deal to lose. It's so amazing how many people that don't have sales experience go through, do the process. They're like, I missed this step, that step, this step. They still close it. And they're like, I can't believe I did. And I watch some of these videos, dude. I've watched some of these closes and I'm like, a whole time I'm like, just feeling like, oh, that was bad. That was bad.
Cringy.
And they still get it, dude, because the leads sell the deal. So for those of you that are like, oh, I don't have sales experience, basically no one does. You just gotta follow the process, you know?
Yep. Yeah, and when you're you know, I asked for some candid feedback from my first and currently only client on you know what made him you know pick me, you know, because he mentioned right off the bat that he gets calls like this all the time and they're usually from like SEO people, you know, and he actually mentioned to me that he has gotten calls specifically for like the digital real estate thing, you know, if people trying to and he said what separated you from everybody else is your personalized approach and the fact that you gave me leads without asking for anything in return except you know a phone call later. Like there was no risk. There was no risk to me to say yeah I'll give it a shot, and that's where the hook comes in. So like when you're delivering value for free already, it's kind of like a no brainer for the business owner, as opposed to like you know like you talk about door to door all the time. Is like you show up at somebody's front doorstep, like you're instantly not delivering anything to them, you know.
So true, bro.
You're
It,
selling the already sold, like you said, you know,
dude,
the people that are
I say this all the time. Why do you think I have this group?
right.
I'm doing the same thing, bro. I'm
Yep.
sitting there going, all right, people want to hear about digital real estate. They don't want to just go buy a course, right? Right at the gate. They don't know if they know anything about it, if they like me. So I'm like, all right, let me put everyone in a group and I'm going to give you the equivalent of free leads by these call. This right here is my free leads to you, right? I have admin, we support, we have free trainings. I have a free YouTube channel. This is my free leads. You don't have to give me anything, but if you want, you know, the recipe, you want to start doing this for real, here's the link, right? Doing the same thing. It works with a
Exactly.
relationship. It's just that's how you play life, dude.
That's how it works. That's how humans are. They're wired that way, and like the thinkers, you know, the thinkers of the group and like entrepreneurs and stuff like that want to get after it, looking at it from a business perspective, it's like, well, geez, if Nick Wood is putting out all this content and offering all this awesome advice and doing calls and interviews and stuff like that on his free group,
Yeah.
man, I wonder what his paid group's like.
100%. And it's just like, it's so the business owners think too, right? Man, these are free leads. Like, I would love to keep this going. Like, you know, like, what do I got to do to keep, and they're also thinking, I don't want this guy to be working with my competitors. You know, like,
Yep.
heaven forbid he sends these juicy jobs to build on the street. So that's
Yeah.
something that you can play into too, is that scarcity, right?
Yeah, I think that's a predicament that a lot of business owners aren't prepared for. And I just happen to run into a business owner that, you know, has been approached before digital real estate, but like people, like business owners aren't prepared for that predicament a lot of times because they're like, man, I'm getting free leads, but then if I say no, he's going to go to my competitor. It's like it's a really unique situation to be in.
It's the easiest. It's not, I'm going to say this. I don't want us to come across wrong because you do have to do the steps correctly. You do have to go through some stress. Like making that phone call is the hardest thing ever when you've never done it. So I'm not going to pretend it's easy. But in terms of what the things I've sold, right? Software, home security systems, SEO, this is the easiest sale I've ever experienced because it's just logic. It's
Mhm.
logic, right? Did you buy ADT or was it already in your house?
I bought ADT.
Okay. Someone knock on your door, did you call
I called them.
them? Okay. You called them, you probably saw an ad. You bought that as an emotional purchase because you want your family protected. You want to make sure that, yeah, you got a little savings on your homeowner's insurance, whatever, but it's an emotional purchase. You want to make sure your family's protected, right? For the potential unknown.
Yep.
This is logical. And that's what I hated about selling security. I had to be emotional. I had to tap into what if this happens? It's like, this is logical. You want to make money, you need leads. You need leads. I'm the only, like, boom, boom, boom. Here's the numbers. It's a yes or no. Like, it's such a logical sale. And the transaction is I send you leads, you send me money. You stop sending me money, I stop sending you leads, and I go down the street to somebody else. It's so easy. I have this hilarious short I put on my Facebook stories today. Shout out to Isaac for his creativity. But the thing, did you see it yet? It's where it's Walter White and Jesse. You got to go watch it, dude. And it's like this. I'm sitting there on my phone. It's like me remembering I haven't talked to my client in 3 years and he's still paying me, right? And it's like, dude, that's what these deals are like that, bro. You'll get deals and they'll be happy and the leads are coming in, the SEO's coming in, SEO's working. You don't talk to these people for years. And I'm not saying that you should avoid them, but like, dude, they're still my clients. I have
Right.
literally, it's been over 18 months. I've not said boo to them. I'm not saying that's how you should do it. I'm just saying I got
Yeah.
big deals.
Yeah.
They're still paying me, bro. What other business can you do that in where you don't talk to your client? It's a service-based business and they're going to continue to pay you? This one, because
It's
they're
autopilot.
you're selling the result, dude. You're
Yeah.
selling
They're still getting results.
100%.
They're still getting results. And that's a problem that another problem, shiny object syndrome, that I'm gonna try to, figure out how I'm gonna approach it with digital real estate. But in like merchant services, I'd be like hyper focused on like every month I'd be like call them and I'd be like, hey, I just wanted to make sure they're and finally like a couple of them are like, dude, everything's okay. All right. I'll call you if something is wrong. And I'm like, okay, fine.
100%. 100%, dude. Um, okay, let's do this really quick. I think we have, okay, I'm just gonna read through these comments really quick, so like 3 minutes. So, Brian Jones says Boston and Massachusetts, nice. Aaron says, Aaron says we should make a new criteria that in order to join digital landlords, you must have spent at least $1,000 on ads. I think you would really appreciate it more if you did. Maybe we should start doing that. I like that, Aaron. Jason says, from my experience, the more closing calls you do, the closer it aligns step by step with the process. I think you would agree with that, right? Like the more that you start doing this, the more you see that like you start making those small tweaks and you're like, oh, there's a reason why he says do this, do
Like
this.
anything else.
100%. 100%. Dude, what advice? So you got your first deal within 30 days. Um, you've been able to kind of curb the shiny object syndrome, which by the way, I will tell you never goes away. And it'll come on for what will happen is you'll start having success. And for you, because I can tell you like me, it will come on in kind of a sneaky way where it's not like you're jumping to another business, but you're focusing on another service.
I've already done it, dude. I've already done it I've already done it with my very first website. And I was going to bring this up earlier. I was like, well, I already have the deal. So why not just run ads to the actual website instead of my one pager? So now I'm doing, I'm trying to rank the actual website and run ads to it. And it's turning into a cluster. So I'm already doing it, but I'm trying to stop.
It's so true. And so like I saw this happen with me a couple years ago and I realized like just because you don't have a different entity or a new business, you start focusing on all these different services. When you look at, maybe you have 7 different services you're offering: social media marketing, you're offering SEO, you're offering consulting, you're doing this, you're doing that. And you look at it and you're like, oh, the only one that's consistent, the only one that's really making me money is selling leads. So why don't I just get rid of all these other ones and focus on that? Now, I would argue and say you can still take on, let's say all your clients that you do sell leads to, they still need SEO, but don't do the SEO. Partner with somebody, give them the SEO, and you just take the check and let them deal with it. That's my only advice. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, no, I love it. And that's thinking about how you've kind of built your agency and mastered all the aspects of it, and then sort of outsourced that's the road that I want to go down, because again, time is money, and I need to focus on eventually I need to focus on building, prospecting, and stuff like that, and less on SEO and content and whatnot.
100%. Also, last thing I was gonna say, you said this a little bit ago, is mosquito squad. Bro, that's an interesting niche.
It's true.
Out
That's
of
true. Yeah,
They're,
well, yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
I would maybe I'll do a video on that and kind of explore it. I'm familiar to an extent with the niche. You don't think about that kind of stuff for like me, where I'm from. Like here, I'm very aware of mosquitoes. I wake up with mosquito bites every day. But in Utah, we don't have mosquitoes really, you know? So
Yeah.
some of these services, some of you guys are like not even on your radar because of where you live. But that's an interesting niche that I would explore. So I might do a YouTube video just to kind of like give my thoughts on it, but it would be something worth looking into.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we could definitely deep dive into that, but I mean, it's the thing not to get into the weeds, but the thing I don't like about it is that there's no contract. Well, I mean, for like the customer, that's cool, like no contract,
A
whatever.
one
But
time,
the
yeah.
yeah, there's no contract. They bill you each visit. It's like once every 3 weeks. It's like $130 a week. But like, I think there's a bigger opportunity with like franchise, like actual Mosquito Squad, because they're like a franchise. But yeah, we should. I'm
Be
interested to.
interesting. And what he's talking about, guys, there's certain boxes when we're looking at niche selection, which we go into in more depth, obviously. I think I even have videos in here, but definitely in the program, is there are certain niches that, or there are certain criteria that your niche has to check, right? Has to be high ticket, because there has to be, good profits in there, that has to have volume, it has to be all these things. So the one he's talking about is there's not really that high ticket aspect. And so, sometimes with stuff like that, let's say pool service isn't great, but it is recurring. And so the contract's actually more valuable than just the $30 a week or whatever. So I don't, yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if it ticks that box, but,
Yeah.
Nick, I appreciate you, bro. I'm going to make 1 or 2 announcements really quick. So I'll let you hop off so you don't have to sit on with me. Thanks for hopping on
Cool.
the call, dude. And I'll be in touch. And I'm excited to see this video you have coming out.
Yeah, man. Same here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks, brother. Everyone give Nick a thanks, and I'm gonna put you in the waiting room and you can hop off. Thanks, bro.